Hello and welcome to episode number 12 of Community Cast. I am your host, the vocal terrorist Jesse Rain, and I am presenting this to you via Sarcasm Gaming's YouTube page. So our player for today is the blue Terran, Niftynathan. He's going up against a barcode player who from now on we will call Cody, and he is going to be the red Zerg. This is on GSL's Daybreak map. For those of you joining us for the first time, this is where I take replays from the Sarcasm Gaming community and my friends, and I give them the chance to be casted on stream. Anyone can send me their replays to voctagaming@gmail.com. So we're going to keep these a little bit more low-key. I'm going to try to rest my voice as much as I can during these because I have quite a lot to do. I think I've got 6 to do between tonight and tomorrow morning. And then tomorrow afternoon, that is Monday the 4th of February at 6 PM GMT, I am casting a show match for the Dutch StarCraft League. That show match will take place between none other than Haarlem and Rotterdam. That's right, it's going to be great fun. I don't actually know how many it's a best of. I think it'll probably be a best of 5 or a best of 7, something like that. But it's going to be a ton of fun. And it's going to be a great advert for the Dutch StarCraft League, which of course is being covered in English by SCV Rush. Myself and Belle Noir hopefully will be doing the commentary, and that will be at twitch.tv/SCVRush1. But until then, I have a lot more Community Cast replays to do. So we are going to look at this game, obviously between Niftynathan doing the lovely eBay block there. For those of you new to this game, and I know a lot of the people watching are from the Sarcasm Gaming community and don't necessarily play StarCraft 2. A lot of you play the Xbox or PS3 shooters. A lot of you play Dota or League of Legends. The reason you build an engineering bay here to block this expansion is because it has so many hit points and is still relatively cheap. So it blocks it for the longest. You don't want to finish building it, you want to leave it with just a few hit points spare so that you can cancel it and get 75% of your money back. So, the Zerg, of course, is in fact just going quite heavy on the Lings to begin with. It's not what you normally see. Normally you see an expansion before a swimming pool, for precisely this reason, that, well, he can't actually get in here if Niftynathan doesn't want him to. That SCV will get taken out, and that's nice for him. It's going to delay Niftynathan's expansion in return, because now he's going to wait until he's got enough Marines, potentially even a bunker up here. With only 1 gas down, that's going to be for speed as soon as he hits 100 gas, not adding a second one, so not any kind of heavy bailing aggression. He can expand to here, and because he's delayed his opponent's expansion, he's going to feel fairly safe at the moment. Of course, he doesn't want to expand here yet because he cannot kill this eBay in time. He'll be able to take his Lings home soon, though, start killing this, and this is where his 3rd hatchery will go. Nathan's going to start building the command center in the middle, knowing he can float it down here once it is complete and get double gas. That's really what you want to do. A lot of players were doing, a lot of Terran players that is, were doing this style where you actually get, you build 2 extra command centers early on and take a very, very fast 3rd without gas. But that's really fallen out of favour because without gas you don't get stim, you don't get combat shields, and most importantly rather against the Zerg, you don't get Hellions out in time for them to be useful out on the map. So a lot of Terrans now favouring the 1 Rax expand into double gas and then getting their Hellions out as fast as possible from that. So this eBay will fall, and by fall I mean it should get cancelled, at which point the 3rd base will go down for Cody. Nathan, in fact, double bunkering. The reason for this, guys, is because he thinks there might be potential for Banelings, which there definitely was. He'd already seen the 1 gas, he'd seen the spawning pool, and he obviously knew... in fact, was he even aware of that? Yeah, he was aware of that 2nd base going down, but that doesn't mean a thing. You can definitely do 2 base heavy bailing aggression. So getting the double bunker there just means he would have been perfectly safe had his opponent attempted that. Without that, still getting the command center, adding the factory as predicted. Reactor will go down on the barracks, but that is for the factory. He will swap those over, and then he can get out 2 Hellions at a time. Bunker also going down at the front now. Once that's down, he will cancel. He will salvage this one rather, and then he will feel perfectly safe. Look, even actually going to start building a 3rd command center, but he wanted to get those gas first. I like doing that. Without gas, the extra minerals you're going to get, not really effective against the Zerg early on, because Marines by themselves just aren't effective against Zerg in that manner. Unless you're going really, really quick, unexpected racks, he's just going to get Banelings out, and Banelings will wreck Marines without stim. Without that movement speed and the ability to split from it, it's just too difficult for Marines on their own to take down any kind of area of effect damage units. So, like I said, excuse me, I'm going to be resting my voice a bit at points, so we will have a little bit of quiet, and I will be taking frequent drinks. I'm also developing a slight cold. Now, as people who are broadcasters themselves will know, the two enemies of a broadcaster are colds and flus. I get vaccinated against flu every year, and normally I'm pretty fine with those, but I do leave myself open to ridiculous amounts of horrible chest colds. The reason for that being, I do not take care of myself. I probably don't get enough of the vitamins I need, and also I definitely do not get enough of the sleep that I need. So Cody's going to come in here with a bunch of speedlings that should not do anything, because there is a bunker up. He might try and dart through here, but Hellions are already out, so no thank you. Goes and runs past the third. He's still got a ling there, checking for it as his own third is going down. Pretty nice creep spread here. Instead of connecting up the bases though, he's going across the map, and that's interesting to me. That gives him vision of any harass coming in. I do like it, but I'd still prefer at least something up here, maybe some creep tumors here, pushing this down here, just so that he can react to those Hellions a little bit quicker. That would be really, really nice to see. Nathan though doing everything right. He's got those Hellions out, and now he's decided he has enough. He's already got one Banshee, and now he's going to put the factory on the tech lab, start to get out siege tanks with siege mode, and a reactor going down on this starport. He's going to build back extra barracks now, because that's the main play here up against Zerg. It's Marine tank. The Hellions are nice to begin with. The Banshee will also help to do some damage against creep tumors if the Zerg has gone for the quite heavy queen build. I think you get 3 or 4, a lot of Zergs are doing nowadays. Really push that creep out and use the queens with their extra range to defend against Hellions that will try and block that back. So one ling here will see that Banshee, so he knows it's happening. Doesn't know how many there are though. Doesn't know if Cloak's coming in, so bam, Spore Crawler is going down, probably in the main. Yep, in the main, just in case it comes in from the left hand side. Also will be useful against drops later on in the game. As it is, the Hellions are going to move around here. A scan here could actually get rid of a lot of these creep tumors. But there are a lot of speedlings moving out and about, and he needs to be careful. These Hellions can kill all of these speedlings, but not if they get surrounded. Once they're surrounded, very, very hard to hit and use that splash damage effectively. So siege mode is almost finished. Siege tanks are coming out. Ton of barracks now. Stim on the way. Combat shield, I imagine, will follow. And now this orbital command is going to move out to take the third. The Hellions will come and clear this ling out. So Cody cannot be certain of whether or not it's about to be taken, or whether Niftynathan is just being diligent. We also have 1-1 coming for Nathan. I believe 1-1 is finished now. Yep, 1-1 is just finishing for Cody. Not getting missile attacks yet. He's going straight to infestors. Did get that Baneling Nest, I should point out, which is the right thing to do. They can be very, very handy. You don't even have to use it. Just having that Baneling Nest there can be really effective if you're not sure what your opponent is up to. It allows you to react to things a lot quicker than if you didn't have it and all of a sudden a really heavy Marine attack came to hit you. So a lot of Marines coming out now, and he's moving beyond his wall, which it may be a sign that he wants to push out. He has the first 2 medevacs, and a lot of Terrans are doing push timings with those first 2 medevacs, but you do have to be careful of infestors. But it can also just be so that he can react quicker to save this third if necessary, if the Zerg decides to pressure it, because that's an awful lot of speedlings. There are a ton of Hellions here though, so with proper control, Niftynathan should be fine. I like that from Cody though, trying to pull the Hellions away from it so that perhaps he can sneak one round. Also going to check for the 4th while he's at it. No 4th up yet. It would be very, very early to be taking that for a Terran, but the Zerg is going to go ahead and do it. That feels about right to me. And now we're getting some nice creep spread. The bases are almost linked up here, so it will allow him to respond quicker. And of course, with this creep pushed out so far, he will be able to defend this 4th base a lot easier. And now it's time for Niftynathan to start pushing this creep back, and perhaps pushing the Zerg back as a whole, wanting to take down this 4th base. Initially, Cody looked like he wanted to run and counter at the 3rd, but he sees just how much is coming. He's going to have to save everything he's got. Maybe make some Banelings as well, use the Infestors Fungals with those Banelings. So takes down that 4th. And Nathan now is just parking up. He's going to have to be careful because he is on creep here. So a lot of units will be coming in. Nice scan. That takes out a lot of creep tumors. This one is still up, but that's pretty much it in terms of creep tumors. And that is the active one. So it can continue to spawn more. It's always really nice when you kill an active creep tumor. Because then it will not be getting any more creep out of it. But this is a lot of creep tumors to get out. Nice. Using only a few marines there. Perhaps trying to bait the army, bait a fungal. And this is a good split here from Nathan. Already pre-split. And here come the Lings. Speedlings running in. Nice use of the infested Terrans to take the first of the siege tank shots. And actually everything Nathan has got here will go down. That is an awful lot of infested Terrans and a ton of speedlings. The medevacs though do escape. The infestor's not on the ball there in terms of fungaling. And Nathan does have enough at home that he should be able to defend if Cody decided to push off of creep. So we've got Baneling speed on the way. We've got 2-2 on the way for the speedlings. Meanwhile, 2-2 is on the way for Nathan's infantry, along with that +1 weapons for the siege tanks, just allowing them to kill even more of the Banelings and speedlings once they start to upgrade their armour. Macro Hatch goes down at the 3rd position, but it was the 2nd base. Don't know if that's a great position for it, but it will help against Hellions. It will force them to position badly if he wants to do a run by into this location, so I can see why you would take it there. Personally, I'm still a fan of taking it here at the 2nd or up here in the main, although I do understand that some Zergs do not like it here because they feel it's harder to defend against any drops if their army is out on the map. So Cody just posturing out here. There is a lot of, in fact this is a full wall. So he's going to start to take it down, but this wall gives Nathan the time to respond. Nice use of infested Terrans there though. The eggs will start to fall, but now the Lings should be able to get in. He's bought enough time for the siege tanks to come up though, and everything is fine for Nathan. But I mean, that was nice work by Cody. He didn't really lose anything for it, and he forced out like 2 stims, and he did a ton of damage here. So now another supply depot has to go up, and some repairs going down at the same time. He knows exactly what he's facing at that 3rd, and Nathan is now worried about potential attacks coming in from those angles. Burrow is almost done. We have +3 armour and +3 weapons started for both players, so really keeping on top of their upgrades. It's really nice to see. Nathan is, I believe, Diamond. He might potentially be Masters now. I think when I first met him, he was Diamond. He's a very good player anyway. So I'm really honoured that he's given me so many replays to watch. Doing them slightly out of order. I'll be doing 1 or 2 tonight, and I'll be doing a few more tomorrow as well from him. Another base going down from Cody now. He wants to pretty much finish up taking up his half of the map. He still has this base to move to in the future, but this is a very difficult one to take. It's right on that drop path. And speaking of drops, here comes the medevac. It will walk into that spore crawler, and with a spine there as well. That's really nice positioning. But we have a huge engagement going on here. The tanks are not sieged on creep, so they will all fall to speedlings and banelings, and so will the marines. Which is how much damage is this drop going to do? They've taken down the spine crawler, and now this gives them free reign among the drones. One queen there not responding to it. I think I might have taken down the spore crawler for future medevac drops. As it is, the queen responds, but will be taken down if it does not move back into range of that spine crawler. Oh, it has done, and now a ton of speedlings pop, so he is going to be fine. He will clear that up. How many did he kill? 9. Not bad indeed, but definitely not the best. So we see marauders being added to the army to help against the banelings. He is going to run down and take this base out. We just check. No, he doesn't have vision of it, but he just feels it's there. This is about the time you'd expect that base to be going up. He knows there isn't one here. So in he comes. Nathan is not scouted until the second he starts hitting it, and because it's finished, there's no way he can save it. Now the siege tank is up. It only gets 1 shot off though before being taken down, and once again all these marines and marauders will be cleared out. If the infestors react properly, we'll also be able to kill all the medevacs. Nice fungal. One might escape. Will he throw down another one? It's going to be difficult for him because Nathan is in the centre of the map, also doing damage here, so he needs to respond to it. That's nice. 2 infested Terrans just to take that out. These marines, good positioning though. Oh man, will they actually get an infestor kill? That was not the best pathing. Yes, they will. Really nice position from Nathan though. Putting your marines in between these mineral patches means only 1 or 2 zerglings can fight at once. But we see ultras now out for Cody, and I feel like Cody is very much set up in a good position. Nathan still has a lot of units, they have good upgrades, but he's not been getting the best of engagements. His tanks are very rarely sieged in time. He's trying to be very, very mobile with his marine tanks, but it's so hard. Only 4 siege tanks here. All these marines are going to start to die, and the ultras will push forward and go straight through that siege tank line. That is what ultras were initially designed for. And behind them, banelings. And the thing about banelings is, when there aren't siege tanks to kill them, they kill everything in sight. And this has been Nathan's problem all game long, is that he keeps having his tank count reset to 0. Because of that, he's never been able to get up a decent enough force to start that kind of leapfrog push across the map. As we see, he only has 2 siege tanks. He wants to try and take this base now, and absolutely no way. He's got a baneling burrowed there. He's got ultras right outside of it. He just cannot take it. There's a burrowed ling up here as well, just a spot for it. Cody is playing this incredibly well as a Zerg player. 4 medevacs coming out now, ahead of the Marines, but this is going to be nice. Nice pullback there. He has to be careful of the fungals and the banelings. So he stims a lot of his units just to get 1 kill on an already hurt unit. But finally Cody does pull back. The baneling is scanned and killed, and now Nathan can take that 4th base, which he needs to do. There's nothing left in the main virtually. There's almost nothing left at the second, so he's only on a 1 base economy very, very shortly. He needs this second base. It's going to be a planetary to help him defend it though, which is nice. As we see, because of Cody's quicker expansions, he still has minerals pretty much at all of his bases, which means he can stay up for longer, even if he loses a base, which is nice for him. Not so good for our guy, the Terran player Nathan, although I know some of you Zergs are secretly rooting for Cody. I know you do it, and you better stop. My players is my players. We will support them no matter what. Cody is going to take this base now. He knows he's got Nathan contained here. He'd love to take down this 4th base as well, but he's not entirely sure if he has enough, being very, very indecisive about his movements here. With a planetary fortress there and now 6 siege tanks, he's going to be well set up enough that he should be able to defend that against this army, so long as he maintains his splits well, doesn't get too badly fungled. And this is nice. 1 burrowed infester comes in just to see, hey, what's going on here, fellas? Maybe even throwing infested Terrans down. Yep, so the siege tanks start hitting their own units, but there are way too many Marines there. Nice, though, it distracts him, and now he's able to move in towards this. The only thing is the Zerg units are going to be trapped here, and they will have to take some shots. So he has to engage here. Fungals go down, banelings start to hit, but he will run out of banelings. More and more speedlings coming in now, some really good fungals, but the planetary fortress is utterly owning it up at this point. SCVs come round to repair, and this Zerg force will die, and that's a lot of ultras to lose. Cody falls to 107 supply. And the thing is, he has the money to continually remake. Nathan was struggling there for a second, but he manages to hold, and he did so retaining 4 of his siege tanks, and that's really important. Didn't lose the base, didn't lose the siege tanks, and now, oh my word, he's going to lose all these infestors. He did not need that whatsoever. Nice fungal does save the last 3, but that is so painful to start losing infestors like that. He has the money and gas to remake them, but it takes a while for the energy to build up again. Pathogen glands mean they will come out with some energy though. That is always a bonus to infestors, and it makes me miss Kadaran Amulet as Protoss warping in storms. There was nothing like that feeling. So incredibly OP. Sad to see it go, however, as a Protoss player. So Niftynathan, the one actually remaxing a little bit faster at the moment because he's constantly churning out units, whereas Cody, perhaps suffering from a lava problem, or perhaps just wanting to invest in tech because he's getting his spy down for a Broodlord transition. Still has a lot of lava that's not being constantly used, so actually just a mineral problem, which is crazy for Zerg. How many? Okay, yeah, 69 drones, perfectly fine. Niftynathan actually over SCVs for a bit on 75. I mean, it's fine, but generally you prefer in the region of 60 because you're going to need, doing this marine tank style, just more supply. The more supply you have, army supply that is, the better. Nonetheless, that is what we see. The Zerg on a weird... oh, they're on a move command, which is because there's a wall there. They actually run all the way back round and come in a bit single file, which is not ideal. That was not the plan for Cody there. But he can afford to lose these lings. He's remaxed again and he has a ton of minerals down. So it can be worth throwing away links to move the army out of position. He tries to come in here, but speedlings die awfully quickly to siege tanks and planetaries. Here come the infested Terrans, here come the ultras. Ultras not so great on pathing still. They're a very, very large unit and they do get in the way. But these siege tanks are going to start to fall again. A few of them unsieged to help them do damage against the ultras. That can actually help a lot. But again, Nathan takes it down. Now it's 170 supply to 70 supply to 135. Nathan being very, very cost efficient here, which is what he has to do. Scans, he wants to pick off a lot of these infestors again. 62 lings in production, 17 banelings, almost no tech units. So he's going to try and win with just that. Now, without proper siege tank support, all of this will die. And here come the banelings, and this is what I'm talking about. Nathan just overstretches. He becomes overconfident, and he throws away a ton of supply there, which he should not have done. You cannot move about on creep with just infantry units. You need to have a ton of siege tanks. You need to be leapfrogging them. And again, he is set down to just 2 siege tanks. 2 more on the way. But you cannot afford to keep losing your siege tanks in this manner. Marines and Marauders you can remake. Siege tanks take a lot longer and need more of an investment. Cody, though, making a mistake here. Oh, if he could snipe those infestors, that would be so nice, but he has to pull back. Instead, going to come up for this base here. It'll be nice to kill it. There's no drones at it, so it's not actually going to set Cody back at this point, but it could set him back in the future. But with the amount of money he has, he should be able to retake that, really. It is tough for Cody, though. He's trying to attempt a tech switch here, wanting to go into... Oh yeah, he is just he's remaking this base. Sorry, he must have lost this base. Don't actually know if I saw it or not. If I didn't, my apologies. Planetary Fortress actually kills all those banelings and saves the SCVs. Well done, Planetary Fortress. But yes, Cody is attempting a tech switch into Broodlords, which is great and may help him vastly, because siege tanks do not hit Broodlords, and there's a lot of Marauders in this army. However, it is incredibly costly, especially when you're losing bases, so it can be difficult to do. A lot of Corruptors out now, and they're going to start morphing to Broodlords. What do we have? We have 33 Marines, 2 Vikings. Do not know if that's enough for Nathan. This is going to be a tough one. I could easily see Nathan being caught out by this tech switch. What vision does he have? Well, yeah, okay, he does not know about the Great Aspire. He has not seen any of the Corruptors or Broodlords, so he has no idea what's happening. Look at this, though. This is what I'm talking about. Just make sure he didn't scan. No, he didn't scan. He didn't see it, but he goes, no, we're half an hour in. I haven't seen the Ultras for a little bit. It's time to throw down 3 starports, wherever they are, possibly up here, yeah, 3 starports, start cranking out some Vikings, and here he sees the Broodlords. He knows it was the right idea to do, and the Broodlords cannot engage on their own. Daybreak is a little bit favoured to Zerg because of these areas here, where the Marines cannot stim and run underneath the Broodlords. It's a very good position for them to take, actually. It's the one thing about Daybreak I do not like. Big thanks to Bell Noir for pointing that out to me many, many months ago when Daybreak was considered the most balanced map. Now I'd probably consider it to be Cloud Kingdom, interestingly enough. But these Vikings doing a hell of a job. This is what I'm talking about. Broodlords cannot engage on their own. They need those infestors. They need the speedlings, and all these Broodlords are actually going to die here, which is less than ideal for Cody. Cody is rushing in with banelings, but not enough. More and more joining. But there's just a ton of siege tanks there, and with those siege tanks there, it's going to have the Broodlords to engage. Oh, that was so close. Nathan gets back into siege range just in time. And again, the banelings come in. He has to target with the siege tanks and pull back with the Marines and Marauders at the same time. But again, the last of the Broodlords will fall here. And now Cody is without Broodlords. He has no tech units. He has 4 infestors. He's having to spend his money and gas on remaking those infestors. He's lost this base again. This is just so tough for him now. Nathan in a great position. That's the kind of engagement that Nathan's been waiting for all game long. These Zerglings will not kill these engineering bays for quite a while. Nathan has more than enough time to respond here. Actually just brings up some SCVs to repair them. Really nicely done. Cody is now going to try and switch back into Ultras, hoping that Nathan will continue to overmake Vikings. But as it is, with just 7 out, Nathan's done pretty much the right thing. Oh, Actually, more than 7 out. Okay, 12 out. That is a little bit of an overmake against a player who's now going back into Ultras. But with 3 Corruptors coming out, it looks like Cody kind of wants to do both. And you can't do that. You have to commit to one. They cost so much in terms of minerals and gas. You cannot commit to both at the same time. You simply will not have enough of either. Oh, I really need a drink. I've been talking about. Oh, that feels better. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to the chemist, and I will eat an entire pack of soothers before I start talking again. I can already hear my voice going. I'm going to do one more replay after this because I am enjoying this and it's a lot of fun. But after that, I think I'm done for the night. So now some posturing again by these 2 players. Niftynathan is going to add another command center, potentially to try and expand to one of Cody's bases, but I think more than that, it's just another planetary fortress, or even an orbital command. You start adding orbital commands and replacing SCVs with mules to free up army supply. This is nice by Cody to continually pressure here, force him to spend money on repairing, but it's also not the biggest of deals. Cody now going to try and sneak across the map and take one of Nathan's, you naughty sneaky boy. The thing is, Nathan should probably be heading down there to check for that kind of thing anyway. This is nice though, borrowing Banelings, so if the bio moves over them, the Banelings can explode and kill them all instantly. But the bio is just moving into the centre now. No siege tanks to support though, the siege tanks are all the way back here. So a big Baneling hit with Infestors there and Fungal could have actually destroyed that. That's the thing Nathan is going to have to be very, very careful of. The Zerg has rebuilt his mineral bank, but he's still very low on gas. What does he have by way of gas? No gas left there, no gas left here, no gas left here. So he has 2 bases still mining gas. This still has, they still have a fair amount of gas at it, but it will start to run out. He needs to take this base here. These Lings still trying to take this down. 1 SCV is actually enough to keep that alive long enough for Nathan to respond. But Cody was being sneaky. He's trying to move around here, but he walks into siege tank range, and now he wonders, what does he have? What does he have down here? He doesn't know the unit composition that's waiting for him there, so he doesn't know it's just siege tanks. He could have gone in and had an effective fight, but he just didn't know, and now Nathan is able to move back with his Bioforce to try and fight them off. But will these borrowed Banelings hit? This is so close. Oh my god, if the Marines moved just an inch further, another couple of hexes forward, and all of the Marines and most of the Marauders would probably have gone down there. 2 Banelings enough to kill Marines. If they've been stimmed, it doesn't even take that much. These are all orange and yellow, so now he's in some trouble here. Baneling's going to come in and start to do the damage. Good speeding surround, and a few of the siege tanks are actually out of range again. But the Infestors are going to push in with infested Terrans. There aren't a great deal of Marines here, but the supply for Niftynathan is staying up. The supply for Cody is falling. Mostly infested Terrans now to fight, and again, the Infestors have to retreat. The Ultras are gone. This command center is actually going to attempt to land here in Cody's base. He knows the Infestors are there. Oh, good scan. Good scan. Trying to catch the Infestors actually catches the borrowed Banelings instead. So Nathan having expanded to his opponent's final base, and Cody having expanded to his opponent's final base. Very interesting stuff coming out of these players here. And Nathan is just going to remax. He's going to remax, and he's actually doing it a little bit quicker than the Zerg, and that's a real problem. There's just a ton of speedlings coming out, and the speedlings will become less and less effective. The Vikings are landed because he saw a ton of Ultras out again, so he knows I don't need these Vikings just yet. They could do better as Marines or Marauders. More siege tanks, a couple more siege tanks coming out, but he needs to be positioning them in the correct places. Otherwise, it's just not going to work for him. One speedling here sees this, but once this becomes a planetary, there's no way he can hope to take it down. The players are actually now even in supply thanks to that engagement, but not even in income again. If we look at the income tab, it's actually higher for Cody at this point. But that can change when mules are dropped. No mules currently dropped. So once mules start going down, it does tend to shift a bit. We have almost no minerals here though. We only have a little bit on this base and this one base left for Nathan. So Nathan's going to have to do something soon because Cody still has, it's about even really in terms of what's left in minerals. This could well go to the super late game where we see the entire map mined out and it simply becomes about who has the better engagement. The problem with that is, I feel like it's Nathan. Nathan's been losing a lot of tech-intensive units. He's not had the best of engagements, but he still ends most engagements up in supply against the Zerg. So I feel like the Zerg has to do something else. He has to somehow deny this base and maybe even take it for himself, which he's going to try and do with all these speedlings and banelings. But now the Bioforce coming in, still no tanks here to help him out though. He doesn't want to lose his tanks in that position. But the Zerg focuses on taking down that base, possibly to his detriment, because he loses a lot of speedlings and banelings. So that went a lot better for Nathan. Cody needed to take that down, and that's the one boon that he has, because there's no mining left here. There is literally nothing left here. There's 75 minerals in that, 195 in there. So there's no money to remake this base, and that's going to be a real problem for Nathan. He's going to have to lift one of his orbital commands and float it down there. So if Cody can keep taking that out, he's going to do very well indeed. Nathan, though, just going for the engagement, trying to deny now Cody's final base instead, and he does take that down because Cody just doesn't have any money left. He's trying to make 4 Broodlords, adding 4 banelings, and that is the full extent of his minerals used on that. Only this one base here now still mining minerals. This has 30 minerals left at it, which is not enough for anything useful. Nathan constantly stimming though, and he does have to be careful about that. All these medevacs are at nigh on 0 energy, so it's hard for them to keep this army healed, but this is nice, taking down that base, killing extractors as well. Now, oh, Cody catches the siege tanks though. 3 reinforcing siege tanks taken down. Nathan is floating his command center from the 3rd over to that base now, because he needs minerals. Once he gets there, he can drop a ton of mules and he'll be fine, but he needs minerals to remake his army. Cody needs the same though. Cody also cannot drop down hatcheries, and of course, he cannot move them, so Cody now in a ton of trouble. So long as Nathan doesn't lose this army, he'll be fine. Cody has to go in here with everything he has left. Here come the banelings and the Broodlords. This base is dead, so it's a long way for him to even long distance mine. One Broodlord falls, all the Broodlords will fall here actually. There's too many Vikings, and once they're dead and the last 2 Infestors fall, this has to be GG. There's just no way back for him. There's no way. He has 2 minerals. Nathan is going to be mining again in half a second once these mules get here. That's it. What's he got? He's going to win the game with 4 queens and 3 lings. He's got 42 lava and he cannot make a single unit. This game is over. Niftynathan with some clutch movements there, just managing to take down those bases. He knew exactly what he needed to do from this position, and he has done it. 4 queens, I'm sorry, they are not going to win you the game because they cannot kill planetaries. And without being able to kill planetaries, he cannot stop the mining from occurring. So as much as Cody wants to hold 14 supply to 81, Niftynathan will be taking this game. The question is, how long until Cody realises that this is lost and he needs to get the hell out? GG comes down from Cody. GG back from Niftynathan. Guys, thanks very much for watching. We, of course, are Sarcasm Gaming. Find out more from us and sign up at www.sarcasmgaming.com. I'll be back with one more replay tonight, and then I'll be done for the day. Thank you very much for watching. See you all very shortly.